next article is about the benefits of drinking stout. And thank goodness, because you know what is right around the corner?
Not more dryness.
Stoutness. Stand up when you say that. Stoutness.
Stoutness, Everdeen.
Tis.
Oh. It'll be my costume all of next month. In honor of Dry January, we are going to end it with a cheers of NA beer shots, because Liz did it. I did not. I don't even know if I damped January. I just drank in January. I didn't really drink that much less or that much more. I think I just January. I just
January.
Welcome back to Sipisode 13.
Oh my gosh.
Of the Body by Beer podcast.
Lucky number 13,
Lucky number 13. We're going to go up to Blackhawk and throw a hundo on 13.
Remember yesterday when I could have made $1,000 if 1, I had made the right bet.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
2, if the Lions had won.
If the Lions wouldn't have shit it down their own leg.
What the fuck?
They did really bad. They did really good, and then
pulled out in
did
the half.
Really bad.
Yeah, it was a totally different team the second half.
Yeah, I think they just. It's hard when you get that big of a lead. I think you just end up getting a little too comfortable.
Yeah,
and it's tough. It's
inexperience, maybe as well. I don't know. I'm not an NFL coach.
Experience in the play. Oh, they also made some very interesting fourth down choices.
Yeah.
We'll call them interesting to be polite. Not what I would do, but I'm not a coach for NFL football.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyways, this is my name's Chelsea. If you forgot it or don't know it, welcome to maybe the first time. There's a couple more you can jump in and check out. We have a good time. This is my best friend Elizabeth.
Hello.
Say hi, Elizabeth.
Hello there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about sour secrets, inclusive cheers, and nice. Wellness wisdom.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of like give you a nice little send-off for Dry January, whether you were successful or partially successful or not successful at all, but end of the day, the goal is to kind of like, as you'll hear, moderation and to have a couple different experiences. So we have an awesome interview coming in that'll help give you some extra information and kick the rest of your year off right. And congratulations for however far you made it. You put in an effort, or you didn't, and then you didn't let yourself down, and that's fine too. Or you succeeded and you did great. I don't know. It's really no losing. But we're gonna jump into our Ale Academy.
All I can hear is, don't ever set the bar too high. That way you're not exceeding your expectations and you're not letting yourself down.
Yeah, set yourself to a low bar and it's easy to beat that one.
Yeah, that's
but not with our Ale Academy. We set a very high bar. We actually have to stand on something in the back because this bar is too high.
I have to wear high heels.
And Liz is wearing heels because, as you may have noticed, she grew like 3 inches from her little face being hidden by the microphone.
They're 2-inch heels.
But we're going to unravel the secrets of sour beers, which, I'm not gonna lie, are a personal favorite of mine. Yeah,
let's get some options out here.
So, we're going to talk about sours. Sours are a very unique style of beer, and as I stated, one of my favorites. They are sour. They tend to be a little bit funky, a little bit sour, a little bit tart. There's a lot of descriptions of, like, farmhouse flavors and smells, and you're like, why would I want to taste that? That doesn't even make sense. Or like, I don't understand.
Horse blanket.
Like, you're like, that sounds disgusting. And I get it does, but it is oddly delicious. And one of my favorite parts about sours is they pair so nicely with food. Oh, they're great. So we've got a couple options. Yeah, I dig it. We'll do a quick little rundown to kind of get you an idea of what we got going on. A lot of times sours come in bottles, as you can see. They don't always. They can also come in cans. They're often fruited, hence why you're going to have this big, beautiful color. I think you can probably see it. Because they have like the extra fruit in it. They also are usually wild fermented, as we're going to come into what that means with the yeast. A lot of times you get big bomber bottles of them. Usually a lot of breweries will have sours. A lot of times they age in barrels, and a lot of times they're like a bit more specialty. They take longer to age. Places that do them sometimes only do them, which is cool. So this is going to be local out of Fort Collins. I wanted to show the fruited off with this one. Jessup,
there we
go. This is one of my favorite breweries in general. I think they're very unique, and they have a farm, and everything they put in, basically everything they put in the beers they grow like on the farm. So they do like mushroom beers and apricots, and then they do food pairing wise, they do like fermented,
that's the best part,
extra foods that pair with the sours, and it's fantastic. Their name's called Scratch. Super fun. They have unique bottles. Their whole setup is unique. And then outside of it being often like wheats and fruited ales and stuff like that, you can do a sour. Like sours are often relatively common. There are dark sours as well. You can sour any type of beer. Those are just kind of a little bit more of the common ones. I do think we have a dark sour in there. Probably could have thrown that out, but
sour IPA.
Oh, yeah, what did I say? Sour ale?
You just said sour on sour.
Oh, shit. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Sour IPA is what
That's all right.
Yeah. That's what you're here for, to catch me.
Can't be perfect. Yeah. These are just some that are lying around the house.
Yeah.
Also some of the favorites, like Chelsea said. Scratch is one of her favorites. I went to Jessup for the first time this summer in Fort Collins after we got done camping at Horsetooth. And it was incredible. I think we came back with quite a few bottles that day. And
a lot of people.
And this is one that does remain. I'm super excited to get back in and have some sours and do some pairings with you. It's been fun, of course, going down the journey of hop varieties, especially in the waters, and getting into the malts as well, or lack thereof malts in our non-alcoholic beverages. It's been a total eye-opener for my palate and for flavor profiles, but this is probably the thing I'm most excited to get back into, especially for the pairings.
Yeah. So, fantastic. I'm excited for Liz to be drinking.
I mean, I drank one day, but that was work related, it was just a beer.
Yeah. The fun things about like these sours, and like as you can see, like they're pretty big bottles, like they're pretty hefty, and a lot of times for me they're short. Like I love sours, but I can't sit like and take down a whole bomber by myself. And so they like...
Maybe you're not trying hard enough.
Fair. They tend to be sharers. Kevin doesn't like sours, so he actually just gave me crap that we have like a bunch of like sour beers just like dying in the fridge down here. And I'm like, well, it's because I don't have anyone to drink sours with.
Give it a couple days.
And we'll be back. And do some food pairings with them.
That's right.
All right. Yeah. Scroll away, my friend.
We'll elaborate a little bit.
Of what makes a sour.
Yeah, we'll get into the secrets of sours. So as Chelsea said, we're going to embark on the exploration of the sours as they be. It's a very tantalizing world of sour beers. Sadly, they're often misunderstood. Like she said, Kevin's not a big fan. They're also great for giving you heartburn.
Yeah.
Not a super fun aspect of it. But these complex brews definitely have been capturing the hearts of beer connoisseurs for a very long time. And around the globe, right? It's not a new thing. It's not an old thing. And it's not a regional thing. So today... we really want to get behind those secrets of these beautiful delights and crack the code to their unique flavors. So, if you don't have one already, make sure to grab a beverage, crack it open, maybe a sour, and we'll get into it a little bit more.
Yeah, or if you're at a brewery, go check something out. Try it out. They're great on flights, because again, if you decide you don't like it, you only have a little 4 ounce of it, so who cares? It's great.
Try to go for it last.
Yeah. I personally am a fan of we kind of talked about barrel aging, right? So they are going to be soured. And the sour is going to come from the fermentation. Usually it's going to be a wild fermented yeast, which means it's going to come from, not always, but you either have wild fermented yeast that come from the air, they come from flowers, they come from the fruits that they came in on, and the bacteria, and over time, which is why you put it in a barrel to age, and it will just kind of keep growing and growing and getting all these unique funky flavors to it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, what a lot of breweries will do is they'll actually find a yeast strain that they like, and they like the flavors that the sour comes out of, and they'll recreate that over and over again, right? Like you can petri dish yeast strains and then keep adding it in and reusing it. Right. Or already buy like soured yeast strains to add in. So there's a couple of different places that come from. They're not all wild fermented. This would be wild fermented. They actually do like the fermentation tank is a big open, I think they call them like bathtubs. It's not quite a bathtub, but that's the concept of it. And it's just the air that comes in their boulder. Like whatever yeast and bacteria are coming in from the air in boulder, like where the thing sits actually has open windows to the outside, and it just grabs what's floating around and creates these unique, really awesome flavors. So those are ones that unless they like go through and scientifically extract that yeast out to recreate again, you will not have this type of beer again once like the batch is done and gone. So they're really cool. They're very unique. And then they sit in barrels and they age and they get flavors from the barrels. A lot of people that like wine really like sours because you get more of that depth. They're also often lower in alcohol and you get all that depth and extra flavor to them. They're sippers. They're not like lagers that you want to drink quick that are really like get done because they're cold. Like these are the sippers and
similar to your warmers or your stouts, right? Like you give them some temperature to warm up to or serve them at a slightly warmer temperature. You're going to get a lot of different flavor profiles out of them. Yeah. Right. Rather than the cold lager. Yeah. Right. So like a symphony, for any of you music lovers out there, a sour beer is an orchestra basically that's composed of these different strains of yeast that you're talking about, right? It's a symphony of bacteria and fermentation inside the bottle. Not a symphony of destruction, but that's a great song. Saying that because it started playing in my head. So all of these contributing their own like flavorful notes to the process. And some of these flavor notes might be hints of citrus, while others offer that funky and earthy tones. You kind of got into that already. But when the magic really starts to happen is that fermentation process of these organisms that transform the sugars in the beer, right? Creating a medley of flavors that really are surprising and excite your taste buds, right? Kind of makes them dance. They make them go, ah! Ooh, just like that.
Just like that, huh? Got me excited about opening this bottle right here.
Don't do it. That would be really hard for me not to have. Like I literally have the Pavlov effect right now. Just talking about it, I'm just salivating in my mouth.
I'm 100% salivating. Like a good example. This one is strawberries and rosemary. Like just not like your standard flavors that you're gonna get out of like most of like your IPAs coming forward. And it's just they're just really cool. That's the IPA.
Yeah, that's the IPA.
It. And then this guy is, I don't remember. Num. Does it say? It says bottle conditioned, brewed with hops, bitters, and flavored with sage, basil, lemon, thyme, rosemary, and lavender from our garden, and fermented with our wild mixed house culture. So if it's like a house culture, that's not going to be they did exactly what we kind of talked about. They got the different mixture from the air, they extracted it out, and now they're using it over so they can get that same flavor of sour repeating itself in different beers. It gives you a little bit more control. Like it's fun to have the random, but at the same time, like people love consistency and they want to come back to something they know and love. And so they'll reuse different strands to kind of keep that same in-house flavor. So that's a great example of everything that we just talked about in one little bottle.
It's a cute bottle too.
It's a cute bottle. I think I might like.
It's got a big butt.
Yeah, I might use it for like a oil bottle after we drink it.
Nice.
Yeah, put the little beep dripper on it.
Yeah, the pour spout.
There we go. Right. So I think that's kind of the basics of sours. They don't have to be fruited. They often are. There's also like I think of like gozes. Those are like kettle sours, so they're kind of like. I don't want to say forced sours, but they're not sitting in barrels. Like this one is barrel aged for 15 months. And they're not doing that. Like they're a little bit more forced through. And they just have a different flavor. And they're not bad. They tend to be more, I feel like, tart and like refreshing. Where these are more like complex and sour versus tart.
Fair.
They seem a little different to me. But that's the best I got. So hopefully you get a chance to get out there. Try some sours and let us know if you love them, hate them, or indifferent. We love them.
We do.
We love them. So, wraps up Ales Academy. Ale Academy is brought to you by our affiliate partner, the Micro Brew Beer of the Month Club. They drink a lot of bad beer, so you don't have to. They're a great little program. Try out a bunch of different beers. You don't have to have the stress of going to the store and deciding what to pick. They just send it right to your door. Stress gone. They do, as we learned, have like an international and like a national program that you can pick between.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do either or, but I think like the international would be kind of cool to see what other beers come
For sure.
internationally.
We should throw the video in of receiving the box.
A little open package there.
But so the affiliate partnerships, it's those that help us keep bringing you this content every week on the Body by Beer podcast. So if you love what you hear and you want to explore some incredible beers, make sure to click on the affiliate link at the very bottom. It's truly a win-win for everybody.
It is. And thanks for the support. And now we'll drum into the brew news.
We're going to get right into it. Our first article is out of the local greater Denver area, and we're talking about Great Divide. Great Divide is opening up a roadhouse. Sadly, Jake Gyllenhaal will not be bouncing at it. Anyway, in Lone Tree. So for those of you who are lucky enough to live in the southern Denver area and wanting to get out, or maybe you're northern Denver and you want to get out of your bubble, get ready to elevate your dining and drinking experience with Great Divide Brewery and Roadhouse, Lone Tree.
Lone Tree.
It's a collaboration between Great Divide and the hospitality mavens at Vibe Concepts.
Yeah, they look beautiful.
It looks incredible. Link will be in the description. Check it out. It's supposed to be a promise of craft beer excellence and culinary delights. It's a big time for Great Divide. They had a big year last year, if you're keeping up with the news. Especially collaborating with Vibe, who is known for its successful roadhouse concepts. The new location in Lone Tree is going to offer a menu of elevated comfort food. So maybe fancy tots.
A good example case.
You gotta church that up a little bit. Let's see. Along with Great Divide's diverse menu, beer selection, including some experimental brews.
What would you pair with a fancy tot there, Lizzie?
Well, it depends. What are you topping on the tot?
Let's say we'll church it up
Don't
with
make it
some
too hard.
fancy ranch and some like green onion. Some little like Cajun powder.
Some Cajun salts and some dippin' ranch.
Yeah. Okay.
With some chive.
Let's do like a dill ranch.
A dill ranch. So like the tangy bites of the pickle and dill. I think I would want probably something cleansing my palate. So maybe something to cut that flavor. So I'd probably go with like an IPA, I guess. Just because of like the friedness of the tot. For the malts in the IPA, and then the hop bitterness to cut the dill. Just from like that contrast perspective.
Fair. I'd have went with a Pilsner, but not like they're a little more like one of that clean, same thing, kind of cleanse the palate out a little bit with a little hop bite to it.
Yeah. But I like the dill. Actually, the dill might clash with the malts in an IPA.
It depends what kind of IPA.
Yeah. I don't know.
Also, these tots sound great.
Actually, I'm like, I want a smoked beer with that dillness. Like a smoky dill.
Switching it up, that would be really good.
Last minute switch.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Take note. That'll be our food pairing. Which goes better, the Pilsner, the IPA, or the smoky beer?
Why don't you guys chime in and tell us what you think? With
our fancy tots. That sounds like a great
elevated
video. Everybody's winning in this video as far as us goes. Because we get to eat fancy tots and drink beer. We're winning. Next brew news is actually a really cool one. I was pretty excited to see this story. There's a Colorado brewery that designed a control to make pinball machines more inclusive.
What?
I know. Like, so one of the craft breweries in the space here, in Colorado, GameWorks Brewery's initiative to make pinball more inclusive for people with disabilities. They've developed a specialized controller that allows individuals with various disabilities to play pinball.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're in a wheelchair, it's one, you're not, like, high enough to be able to see, and then, like, it's hard to get the right angle, right? Like, not, like, able to necessarily get there. So instead it kind of, like, pulls it down, and it makes it more of a, kind of like a game controller.
Yeah, I think it sits on their lap or something.
Yeah.
But it depends.
Yeah, it depends. I'm sure what it's for. It's part of a broader effort to make gaming and entertainment spaces more accessible and more inclusive.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, GameWorks aims to create a welcoming environment where everyone can enjoy the fun and excitement of pinball regardless of their physical abilities. They were able to get a grant from the Colorado Disabilities Fund, and they have interest from other breweries for the device, like Locavora Beer Works.
Yep.
And what a cool program! Like,
Super
honestly,
cool.
it's one of those
bunch
things.
of beer nerds sitting around and
Want to play more pinball?
Yeah. Pretty awesome. Again, articles in the description. Make sure to check it out.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Didn't even cross my mind as a problem, but it makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't think about it.
Goes
That's
right
fine.
along those lines of inclusivity, right?
100%. What a great way to do it, too. Oh, is this me? There's no name on it.
No, no name. I guess I'll take it. Every other,
Yeah.
I guess. Our next article is about the benefits of drinking stout. And thank goodness, because you know what is right around the corner?
Not more dryness.
Stoutness.
Stoutness.
Gotta stand up when you say that. Stoutness.
Stoutness, Everdeen.
Tis.
Oh. It'll be my costume all of next month.
Just walking around with a bow and arrow. I have every right to be outside.
just fling stouts.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That'd be awesome.
The
Little Tide Pods, but are filled with stout. This is like, no.
I'm just gonna look away and pretend I thought that was a good idea.
We've got the crossbow that shoots marshmallows. That's pretty good times like that.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be.
Why don't you inject your marshmallows with stout and then shoot them at people? You're welcome. I'm not just here for good looks. I know I already said that, but.
Well, being you said that I should do all of this, that means there's someone's face has to hit a marshmallow shot at it that's filled with stout, and that leaves your face.
It's okay, I have a cat-like reflexes.
Oh my. It's just going to be this fun video that ends with Liz choking, and we have to use the pump thing, plunger, to get that out.
It escalated quickly.
The thing shoots very quickly.
It does.
It's
I got
aggressive.
hit with it a couple times already.
Yeah. I like this idea, though.
All right, benefits of drinking stouts. This particular article comes at us from the Good Health Center in the UK. So why do they say that? Well, because stouts, we talked about this briefly in the last episode, they contain antioxidants. They're beneficial for heart health, and they're rich in calcium, supporting bone health.
Bone health.
It also provides essential vitamins and iron, contributing to overall nutritional intake, right? The article also talks about, of course, responsible drinking, and the surprising fact that stout is a lower calorie option compared to other beers. Depending.
Yeah.
If you're getting the pastry stout, that is just not a fact.
Yeah,
Or milk stouts,
probably
right?
not
More
enough
sugar.
either, yeah.
So you gotta stick with like extra dry stout, all that stuff.
Guinness.
Yes. 2 grams of protein. Let's see. Like we said, thankfully stout season is right around the corner.
And though it is stout season and no longer dry season, if we do find the NA Guinness, we will still try it.
Yeah,
because
of
we
course.
haven't had it yet. We still can't find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a lot of the NA stuff. Well, hop waters. I've decided I like the hop waters.
I really like the Lagunitas ones. These are delicious.
The hoppy refresher.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for our brew news today. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed. Remember to drop any links or articles in the comments so we can discuss some of your favorite articles in the brewing industry.
And with that...
I think I need a shot.
Oh, yeah, so we're supposed to do a shot at every segment.
Well...
That's why the brew news
me.
was choppy. Feel good. I'm actually liking that one.
Yeah, I went to Station 26's athletic brewing event yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was a good little turnout. Had a good taco truck. Delicious.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hadn't had the IPA in a while.
Yeah. I actually like it better than last time I had it.
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
It's less honey-y.
Yeah,
A little bit less sweet. It has a little bit more bitter.
Yeah, Lagunitas is still my favorite, but
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway,
thanks.
doesn't matter if you are the 23rd and rising brewery.
I think Lagunitas was ahead of them on that list.
I'm sure they were.
I don't remember, but they might have been. Optimistic inquiries.
Let's do it.
Q and A.
Curious.
Q and A. We're gonna highlight topics that we wanted to get our 2 cents in on.
That's
and
right.
because you're listening, you also get our 2 cents on it. So you're welcome for the 2 cents that we will not
That's all
send
you get for
That's
2
all you get.
cents.
That's all you get.
Yeah. All right. Today we're talking about the importance of adjusting your brewing schedule to stay on trend with the ever-evolving beer scene.
Yeah, I like the idea of this.
I like the idea of hearing what you're going to say about it. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, the concept's fun. All right, craft beer trends, they can vary from region to region or even nationwide. So how aggressively do you decide to adjust your brewing schedule to accommodate these? We think the answer is no surprise, not just black and white. There's some gray. You got to find the right. It's moderation. You got to find the right balance that makes sense for you.
Right. And I think I passed over this. Apologies. We pulled this one again from the Craft Beer Professionals. They talk about a lot of good things, right? It's a great community to be a part of. It keeps us all on our toes. And so it is crucial to stay connected with your local craft beer community, right? Being a part of groups like CBP, attending events, talking to fellow brewers, breweries, taproom managers, and most importantly, paying attention to what your consumers are demanding.
Yeah. What a concept.
Imagine that.
Why would
They
you
are the
wanna do
ones
that?
consuming the product, so it's always cool when they're in on,
Yeah, you make what they like.
Yeah. It's
I don't
not
know why you'd
a
do that.
build it, they will come. Always.
But it helps.
It does help.
If you
It does.
build what they want to come there for.
That's right.
It helps.
That's right.
Yeah, like, I think you want to do experimental, you want to push boundaries, you want to create exciting new flavors. So, like, never shy away from that. Because as we talked about before, especially those small batches, those are going to be keeping people excited. They're going to keep people coming in. And you shouldn't, like, necessarily only go for the trends. Because it also might not necessarily work for your area or the people that come to your brewery for what you do, right? Like, so I think take it with a grain of salt. But at the same time, keep it in mind, right? Like, maybe trying to have, like, maybe 1 or 2 of the trending styles might be newer for you in the year to start trying to implement into your the brewing techniques and not techniques, but the type of beers that you have on draft regularly into your schedules, and kind of figuring out, you can even bring it up to your customers, do a survey. Like, hey, here's 5 new styles or styles we don't generally have. Which are the 2 you'd like to see most this year? And experiment with it to still, I don't know, I feel like it's like one of those things you make it your own, just like social media, just like anything being creative. Like, say lagers are like this big trend. Cool. Well, but if you're like this experimental that likes to use a bunch of fruit, then maybe do like some weird fruited kind of sour or something with like a hint of some other flavor. Like, still make it fit your brand and what you do best. And that way you're kind of hitting both birds in the stone thing, whatever they say. That's bird stones.
2 birds, 1 stone.
That's the one.
You're combining 2 birds, 1 stone with the sword and the stone. Yeah, I think you nailed it. You got to maintain that unique identity as your brewery, right? Yeah. So that your craft beer enthusiasts appreciate the authenticity, originality, and it's also important to adapt, as you said, and always bring your own twist to the trends, right?
Exactly.
You're brewing lagers all day, or experimental fruited lager. There you go.
Yeah. Something fun. Make it your own. Collaborate with other breweries is a great way to adapt your brewing schedule to match latest trends as well. Especially with a brewery that maybe specializes in a style you don't specialize in.
Hey.
Get advice from other people that do things better than you do. It's a great way to learn.
As long as you would trade places with them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Keeping an eye on those national beer trends helps you broaden your reach, right? beyond local boundaries. It's truly endless at that point. But remember, what works for one part of the country doesn't always work in the other, as you said earlier.
Yeah. So, there's kind of a balance within brews that people love what they love, right? There's a reason franchise models exist, is because people want to go in, they want to know what they're getting, and they're going to want it to taste the same. So, keep beers on that your customers know and love. You got to do that. You got to have at least a chunk of your flagships, right? Of your draft lines be your flagships, but also always be evolving and evolving your brewing schedule to adapt to trends and draw in a new crowd and maybe expose your current crowd to something else they might like, right? There's lots of ways to balance this, and those are just some ideas that I think from a front of the house perspective can be very successful.
Yeah. And that's really all we have to say about that. So we appreciate the Craft Beer Professionals group throwing up that question so we can jump in on it and give our 2 cents as we stated.
2 cents.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. Again, I hope you enjoyed this segment of the Hoptimistic Inquiries. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with our craft beer culture and Hoptimistic Inquiries.
Woohoo! Hoptimistic Inquiries.
Woohoo! What the fucking Pillsbury Dough IPA. Pillsbury IPA.
I used to be able to do that laugh. Woohoo! Woohoo!
I was like, that's what you are doing. That's all I heard.
Welcome to our main segment today, where we're going to have an engaging conversation with Dr. Dan Brown, a physical therapy expert, and he's here to help guide you through some of the nuances of how our bodies interact with alcohol.
Welcome, Dr. Dan. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. I love the idea of the podcast. And again, my whole slogan is orthopedic optimization, but that optimization also includes your body, how the things you do affect your body, your rehabilitation, and your wellness. So whether that, you have an injury and you want to keep performing a specific activity, or you have an injury and you need to be doing specific things like drinking alcohol, again, we're going to find the best recipe or, aspect to help you optimize your wellness no matter what you want to do, right?
Awesome. So let's jump in. First question here. What are long-term effects of dehydration and lack of sleep, and why? I definitely know I don't sleep as well if I've been drinking a lot, but why?
Sure. Well, again, the dehydration can affect our body's ability to recover. A lot of times when I have climbers who have a tendon injury, or runners who kind of have a knee patellar tendonitis from running too much. Again, a lot of times we have asked those questions. When you had your injury, what were you doing? What happened kind of leading up to that? And very often you'll find that dehydration is a factor involved with injury. Again, if our tendons aren't supple and hydrated, we're going to have an increased potential response to injury, because again, there's not as much malleability or softness in that tendon. So, and again, that dehydration, when you are drinking something like alcohol that's a diuretic, you're sometimes pushing out more of those nutrients and electrolytes, which are vital for optimal functioning of your physiology. So if you don't have those electrolytes, and essentially your body or your muscles and your tendons aren't satiated with those healthy vitamins and nutrients, that can also decrease your ability to heal or increase your risk for injury, right? So, and again, we can talk about ways that you can actually help improve that, right? By not just drinking water, but electrolytes and coconut water, things that have, very nutrient rich rehydration aspects. And then as far as sleep, right? Again, it affects your body's ability to get in that deep REM sleep, and sleep is one of the biggest factors of recovery for our tendons, muscles, bones, those things. So if we're not getting quality sleep, that's really going to affect your ability to heal. Or if you think, and again, we're talking more about excessive alcohol consumption, right? In smaller amounts, it's fairly nutrient dense, and it has some benefits. But in those larger amounts, right? If you wake up and you have extreme, when you're your mouth is so dry, right? That's not a good feeling. It's just, it's the same. If your mouth feels like that, your body is probably, feeling a little bit more desiccated.
That makes total sense. So you brought up ways to kind of offset that, right? You brought up some nutrition, electrolytes, and what have you. What are some exercises or stretching that you could combine with a better nutrition balance, I guess?
We're doing hot water, so we're healthy with you talking right now. Hydrating.
We
doing dry
could talk.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. I think that's great.
Thank
And
you.
there's some benefits to that too. We'll go over that too. But again, I think when we're talking about physiology, and again, like if you're drinking alcohol in excess, or more than kind of what the recommended amounts, or where those amounts where they say is actually beneficial, which is usually 1 to 2 drinks, even a day, but not more than that, right? That's usually where the research stops, is where you get into either binge drinking or 3 to 4 drinks multiple days a week. But if you stick in that 1 to 2 drinks a day, there's actually some really benefits that decrease your risk for heart disease, improve your cardiovascular health. Obviously, socialization probably is associated with that. But again, if you want to decrease some of those effects, which we're talking for the people who might, let's say, drink a little bit more, or like start to feel worse when they drink a little bit more, like myself, which happened when I kind of got into my late 30s, right? Again, it affects everybody differently, but I definitely have a harsher effect the next day. And so again, when we're thinking about that hydration, the lack of nutrients because we're excreting some of those because of that, and again, moderation, again, we can offset those effects by, again, hydrating, drinking and eating nutrient rich foods, timing, again, because again, the only way we can get rid of alcohol in our body is basically metabolism, which again, they always say time is the only thing, but you can increase your metabolism by actually exercising. So in theory, if you wanted to get your BAC down and to get the alcohol out of that bloodstream, which you can go for a run, you could work out, anything that is going to
get your heart going.
Yeah, anything that's going to increase your metabolism is going to burn off that alcohol out of your system faster, right? So if you want to go for a run, which
those
some
people are
actually
monsters to me.
it may help you. And then if not, again, you could practice by eating quality foods, and vitamins and things like that. They'll help reabsorb those nutrients into your system, which hopefully can help.
That makes sense. I've definitely had friends that are on that. Like, I wake up and I work out and I feel so much better. And I'm like, wow. I wake up and I want a breakfast burrito and like I want to do nothing all day.
Yeah, usually your body wants to get in more, right? So there was actually a study in the journal Clinical Medicine evaluated the diets of people who are drinking excessive alcohol, and it showed that taking B vitamins and zinc actually affected their hangover, and the people who had more of those vitamins in their diet actually had less severe hangovers.
Life is making more sense today.
There you go.
Right, I mean, that could be from vitamins, from meat consumption. There's a lot of different things that could do that.
Sure. That's great
Yeah,
information.
another thing people might not know is because alcohol has such a kind of a not a negative, but a harsher effect on your liver, because that's what processes alcohol. If you are taking a pain reliever, let's say like an NSAID, which is an anti-inflammatory drug, that can help with kind of the ache and pains. However, you don't want to take acetaminophen, which is Tylenol. And the reason for that is because something like Advil is an NSAID, it actually goes through your bloodstream. I think it's processed more through your kidneys. Tylenol is processed through your liver. So it can kind of accentuate the toxic effects on the liver. So you don't want to put more actual strain on your liver by like taking acetaminophen, which is processed by the liver. Instead, you might want to take something like an NSAID, which is processed elsewhere in the blood.
Good little tidbit right there.
Really surprised I survived COVID now, because my go-to is Tylenol.
Another big thing I always notice, I don't crave a salad when I'm drinking. But like on a normal day, I'll often eat a salad, but not while I'm out drinking beers all day. A salad sounds not that appealing.
Absolutely. You want to have one of those more greasy, like fat soaks up that more in your stomach and actually delays the effects of alcohol, which is kind of crazy. So some people say you should eat, like, if your vegetables, fat rich food like avocados, fatty ribeye, which will actually decrease the absorption of alcohol through your stomach if it's coated with a layer of fat. So that actually decreases the effects of alcohol. But again, one of the things I always wonder is, if you are trying to metabolize it faster, so if you eat a ton and you're drinking right before bed, it's going to be in your system way longer into the morning, versus if you do kind of have an empty stomach, it's going to hit you a lot faster, a lot harder, which maybe you'll drink a little less, but it'll also metabolize a little bit faster.
I never thought about that.
It's food for thought, right? Because you could say like, well, maybe I can try to limit my hangover by not eating anything, drinking as much as possible in a short time frame, and then exercising right after, then eating right before bed. And then that would probably push out most of the alcohol out of your system before you woke up, versus if you just drink steadily all night and then eat with your alcohol all night and then go to sleep without actually doing anything. You're probably going to have a higher BAC in the morning, which again, the question remains of how it affects you and if you're going to feel better or worse. But it's interesting food for thought.
Yeah, I was like, and you probably had a higher risk of getting hurt if you go out for a run when you're drinking. So there's kind of a counterbalance in it.
It's also a good point, because your performance is going to be a little bit affected.
A little bit.
So prescribe the elliptical or something.
There you go. Strap me in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was. I
Very
feel like
insightful.
I learned a ton of that already.
Yeah.
Next question that I know pops up a lot is, I feel like most people know the general rule that, like, men, I think their average recommended drinks is like 2 a day, women is 1. But like, kind of like, obviously, like, I don't know, I guess like women in general are smaller, but why is that such a drastic difference? Like, what are the different effects on women's body versus men's, and like why is there that difference in rule?
For sure. And I think that's a valid question. And I think it's something that, even though we might see that subjectively, having some objective data behind that is important. And I actually had to look this up because I was curious about that as well, because again, there are differences. So the main thing is metabolism. And this is, just science. Women generally have a higher proportion of body fat and lower proportion of water. So since alcohol is water soluble and not fat soluble, right? So essentially, even though like that has to do with your stomach, it also has to do with it circulating in your bloodstream. Women tend to have higher blood alcohol concentrations than men after consuming the same amount of alcohol, right? So that might be why your friend maybe seems to be drunk a little faster at certain times than that. So that's the main difference is metabolism. There are some studies that show that enzymatic differences in metabolism differ. So women tend to have lower levels of alcohol dehydrogenase, which is an enzyme responsible for breaking down that in the stomach as compared to men. And so as a result, a smaller proportion of alcohol is actually metabolized in the stomach. So aka burned off before reaching the bloodstream.
Okay.
So
is there any way to increase that enzyme?
That's a good question. And I think I actually looked that up. And again, I don't think there's like a synthetic way of creating an alcohol dehydrogenase that would break down it in your stomach more faster.
That makes sense. So like in general, also like what I'm hearing is, if you're a female and you have a higher muscle tone and less fat, then you're going to probably I would assume, have a little bit more closer to like the recommendation of like what guys can drink to match that body fat and muscle ratio. Or is the enzyme a big part of that, and that doesn't really matter? Well,
the enzymatic is a little bit different than metabolism, but yes. And again, if you think about it, if you're in really good shape, let's say like you're working out and your metabolism is running at a higher rate, right? You're going to metabolize food and alcohol faster than someone who is more sedentary, who doesn't have a healthy diet, who's not exercising. So it actually does kind of play into physical fitness. And again, this is just more of a broad kind of concept of why females might, again, feel the effects of alcohol a little bit more than men due to metabolism and enzymatic differences. And again, there's also some speculation on, again, hormonal differences, right? So during different phases of, I guess, menstrual cycle, you'd say, it's like that could affect, and you guys might be able to speak on this because I can't, but that might affect like how alcohol is affecting you, because it does affect the hormonal regulation in your body, right? And how you're feeling and a lot of the aspects of your brain. So that could, again, affect the mood and kind of how you're feeling or anxiety or anger or those types of things a little bit more.
Okay.
Definitely in the past, I would say through some inhibitions to the wind because of my hormones, and like you're already out. So it's like, screw it, let's go, Oh, you want a shot? We just had one 3 minutes ago, but sure, yeah, I'd love another one. So I don't care. Today sucked. Tomorrow's going to be worse. Like, and then you wake up and you're like, I feel terrible. And I got my period. This sucks.
For
Like,
sure.
it makes sense.
And men too, like for me, if I'm upset or if I'm angry and if I drink, I kind of stick on that level of, hyperactivity or anger, kind of like more depressed kind of aspect of those feelings. So I think it just kind of accentuates the mood that you might already be in. So
great way to say that.
Yeah.
It's probably very specific to each individual, but I'm sure we all have our experiences that, good and bad, that they can kind of enhance or take away. If I would go out and I was trying to control alcohol and I wasn't drinking, I wasn't having fun, and I needed that endorphin and, endogenous kind of release of serotonin from alcohol, that kind of means that, okay, like I've become a little bit dependent and I kind of need this to make my brain chemistry be happy and be controlled in this environment. And I think that's a little bit more of if you need that to feel good versus you can go out and this would be a good experiment for a lot of people, is just to go out and say, hey, can I not drink? Or, there's so many non-alcoholic options or mocktail options these days everywhere, and every bar, everything. So you're seeing, at the liquor store, you're having those options. So, it's a good way to kind of see, okay, am I more dependent on a substance, and do I need this to have fun, or can I control it? Right. And so that's, I think, knowing if you have a healthy relationship is also pretty important, because again, it's like affecting your mental performance, when you're out, right? So we talk about physical performance, but mental is also just as important. If you're drinking right up until you go to bed, again, those effects are going to be well on throughout the night, versus if you can stop before, like an hour or two before you go to sleep, you're going to metabolize about 1 drink an hour is the average, right? Again, if you go for a 30-minute jog or on the elliptical, you might be doing 2 drinks an hour if you're sweating and stuff. So if you can metabolize that out, you can do that. The naked mile is what we did in college, and everybody would get hammered drunk and run a mile naked down like to the end of the archway at the school. So
when in college,
probably like really good, and we were never hungover, right? But it was also
did we want to touch really quick on a little bit more on the benefits of alcohol on the body? I know you briefly brought it up, and then you said again that we didn't really get into it, but I think we should.
For sure. And again, just to give that good warm feeling about again, like we all like to drink, we have a lot of fun, and again, like if it's not affecting me in a negative way, which is rarely, it's usually affecting me in a positive way, right? Like it's an endorphin releaser. It makes me feel good. It enhances music. It can, and again, there are some studies that show that. Again, most of these studies are within the moderate way, but we can talk about 2 things. So it decreases your risk for cardiovascular disease. That was a really large, well done study. A lot of the things like in wine that have more of a antioxidant effect, those are really more in those blue zones, is when people are in highly social, well diet areas, that they're drinking more alcohol is plant-based, right? So, and they do have polyphenols and different healthy things. It also increases your HDL levels, which is your high density lipoprotein, which they can kind of consider that your good cholesterol. So moderate alcohol consumption has been linked with those beneficial changes. It also helps with insulin improvements and factors that influence blood clotting. It is a blood thinner. So my grandpa is 97. He likes to have a cocktail or 2 or 3 a day. And again, he doesn't even need glasses at 97. And I remember our ophthalmologist saying, it must be because he drinks so much vodka, because he's got a lot of people don't have, like, they decrease that blood flow as they age, and he's doing really well. So again, I think again from the circulatory system in moderation, it thins your blood, it decreases your risk for clotting, those types of things. Where again, if you're eating like a bunch of high processed, fatty, saturated fat foods, like you're eating McDonald's every day, you're more likely to have a blood clot and clotting and those things. So alcohol. Again, I'm not saying if you're eating a bunch of McDonald's to just drink a bunch afterwards to counteract the effect.
Wait a minute.
Low amounts will help your overall cardiovascular health. Again, I think the social aspects are really important. And again, I think I remember taking a alcohol class when I was in college. I got in trouble, and again, those 1 to 2 drinks a day, there's actually evidence that those people live longer than people who don't drink at all. Now, again, like there's no push to say, hey, if you don't drink, you should, right? But, again, that's just what some of the research shows. So it's like, okay, there are some benefits. And then when the Olympics, they were in Germany or somewhere like 8 years ago, but when that was happening, there was this big aspect of NPR and everybody reporting on all these athletes, drinking the beer out of the big steins. And
Germany then.
it was definitely in Germany. And in the University of Munich, they did this big study on athletes and their physical activity, and then drinking non-alcoholic beer after their physical activity. So when the marathon runners were instructed to drink 1.5 liters of non-alcoholic beer a day, right? They did blood work on all these athletes, and their risk for upper respiratory infection was actually reduced. So their percentage of white blood cells, which is an indicator of inflammation, like if you're sick, you're going to have a lot of white blood cells. Okay. Their inflammatory aspects were lowered 20%. And then again, they think this is from this phenol activity because, again, non-alcoholic beer is still beer, and beer has this as well, but it's a plant-based food, right?
Yeah.
Or you can call it.
I call it a food.
So so again, like the alcohol aspect actually kind of helps. It might not help. Like 1.5 liters is a lot of beer, right? So but that non-alcoholic aspect really helped them
moderate
recover.
consumption.
Yeah, and a lot of athletes do that. It's actually prescribed for a lot of like Olympic level athletes. So if you, and again, we talked about like rehydration and getting those electrolytes and those essential nutrients, like especially non-alcoholic beer, it's much more of a hydrating benefit for your body than just water, let's say. So that's a great way to kind of get that fixed. And like right after you get done working out, it's a great way to get those nutrients in your body and feel even better.
We're like glad we circled back around to that. That was fantastic. The
crushed it. Home run.
Yeah, the home run. That's really cool. That's really interesting. And again, like, so kind of everything that we're hearing is no surprise with moderation, right? Moderation is going to be key. People that kind of like fight the dry January or taking a dry day off a week, like to me, what this is really allowing people to do is to keep that moderate level low. Like if you're a social drinker and you like the serotonin and stuff that's coming out by being social and having a couple drinks, but like as we all know, once you're drinking a couple drinks and a couple more, all of a sudden your tolerance goes up. Taking those days off allows you to stay hydrated longer, allows you to probably eat a little bit healthier, keep your moderation, where having 2 drinks still lets you kind of get that nice little buzz, having a good time, and now you don't have to drink 6 of them to get there.
Right.
You're gonna get better sleep. You're probably gonna exercise a little bit more, at least feel more able to exercise. And yeah, you're gonna jump in having those extra endorphins. You're gonna get the social aspects. You're gonna get the extra vitamins and nutrients from it. So I again, like, it's no surprise moderation is key here, but it's definitely not drinking.
Yeah,
right. All of those things kind of like go into what we're talking about today. And then again, as a PT, I see that like mental aspects of your health are just as important, setting up your physical aspect, and vice versa. So, and again, they have a compounding effect. If you're exercising, you're feeling better. If you're socializing with your friends, having beer, you're going to feel better. Like those are great things. So I definitely, am proactive about that and saying, hey, like, go, like, totally, you can go do that. Like, go, it's just as important to do that than it is to just say, oh, I'm not going to do anything and I'm just going to sit at home and like, lay in my bed. Like, I'd rather you go out and have a few beers and like go exercise and like be social and get those things going, because that's going to help your overall, again, we talk about wellness and what keeps people going and happy. And so I love that connection. So I'd like to know a little bit more about that science of the brain.
So if you know someone, feel free to recommend more. We'd love to have the interview. That'd be a lot of fun. But like, even going with that, like walking over to your brewery, like you said, like instead of just sitting on the couch not doing anything, at least now you're getting a little exercise, you're getting some fresh air. All of those are going to boost all your endorphins and everything in your body in its own, then having a couple beers and socializing. So there's definitely some benefits there, and
you can always change the paradigm around those things. Again, it's just not thinking in just one way, like, oh, it's bad. It's like, okay, well, how can it can be good, but how can we manage that and optimize it to our best wellness efforts to create this, again, overall realm of wellness for our lives and our bodies.
Love it.
So good.
Pumped to have you on the show. I think you just have such a good balance and a reasonable like expectation out of people.
Right. I love how there's those aspects where we can make it into a positive light and still have fun. And again.
Totally.
Perfect. I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up with a quick shout out for you. For anybody in the Boulder area or the greater Denver area looking to get over into Boulder, check out Dr. Dan and his expertise. If you're looking for a top-notch PT in the area.
I appreciate that, y'all. And if anybody needs to contact me, my contact information is on my website. You can email me or just shoot me a text as well. It's my personal number. So I run everything myself. I have a couple different office locations in the Boulder area. So look forward to working with anybody and offering that free 20-minute telehealth consultation for those of you who want to get more into your wellness and optimize your performance. So thank you all for having me. I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you all soon.
Well, thanks, Dan.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Dan.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
I feel like I need another shot of this NA.
Sorry,
really
not
go-
sorry, Sam.
Ooh.
Yum. That was a big drink.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. It just.
Though that was a big drink, we're walking right into sips of wisdom, not gulps of wisdom. Unusual drinking habits from around the world.
All around the world, we can make time. Rumping in the stomach because I got no time. Oh,
In my prime?
I don't know. That's just what I came up with.
This is my absolute favorite segment.
You don't say.
I do say, and I did. Today we're discussing some unusual drinking habits from around the globe. Not every little nook and cranny is known for their alcoholic consumption, but they do have some interesting traditions. So though there will be some boozy ones, there's going to be some not boozy ones.
Real weird. We're getting weird. All
a
right.
little weird.
First stop is Kenya. Here. What?
I was going to make a Kenya guess this.
Well, you did. The Maasai tribe celebrates their warrior status with a traditional drink called the asir, made with cow's blood mixed with milk. A unique way to replenish their strength. Could be an interesting option for a milk stout.
It's so gross.
Oh my gosh.
Like the...
Is it though? I mean, I don't know. I didn't think it was that weird. Clearly you haven't had enough raw steak in your life.
I mean, that's, for quite a few years, pretty accurate. But also, like, just because you have a raw steak doesn't mean you dunk it in the milk. I feel like the fact that it's
the
like...
milk that's weirding you out? It's
I
not
think
the blood?
It's the blood in the milk. And I think it's because it's cow blood in the milk. If it was like goat's
sure the
blood,
milk
I
cuts
think
iron.
if it was the goat's blood in the milk, it would be less gross to me than... I don't know. But I don't know. It's weird that it's the same on the same. I don't know. Adds an extra goofiness for me.
All right. Well,
That's just
she
what I
doesn't
thought.
like cow on cow. You heard it here first, folks. Sorry. It's your turn.
But you're not wrong. In Mongolia, the locals indulge in ereg.
Yep.
Ooh.
That's why I left it.
A fermented mare's milk served in a leather pouch known as a shruck.
Syrup?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It might sound strange, but they said it's both delicious and nutritious. Could be as strange as brewing a Rhine watermelon IPA, if you ask me.
Sounds like a crazy idea.
Sounds like a crazy idea.
I had way too much fun writing this. I'm just saying. All right. Next,
If there was a bear, Liz is poking it.
I don't know what that means. All right. Next up, we're traveling to Russia, where the famous vodka eyeballing. Have you heard this one? Have you seen this one?
No.
Okay. It's a real thing. The trend is real. Yep. And you heard that right. They believe pouring vodka directly into your eyeballs enhances the alcohol's effects.
Yeah, I mean...
Talk about a wild way to start a party, but sounds just like another Monday night to me.
Do you suppose they still tell people to drink responsibly?
In Russian.
But they're not drinking. I drop responsibly.
I see what you did there.
Anyways,
Alcohol responsibly.
we do not state you should do this, by the way. This is just giving you a fact of something. We're not condoning this behavior.
You do you.
I mean, you do you, but
don't drive. Especially if you're
See,
putting it in
anyways,
your eyeballs.
it's terrible. All right, moving on to South Korea, where we encounter a tradition of soju bombing. Did I do that right? Soju? Mm-hmm. This involves dropping a shot of soju into a pint of beer and chugging it. And you do it in one go. It's a crowd pleaser at gatherings and helps build camaraderie among friends. I think they got that one from the Irish.
I think so too. But speaking of Dublin drops, have you heard of Washington Red?
I have not.
It is a shot of Crown Royal apple dropped into a Red's apple.
Oh.
And you just slam that sucker.
That sounds kind of nice, actually.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I don't think I would dislike that one. I would try it.
I think I thought of it myself.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Someone surely has tried
Someone
it.
surely has.
But,
yeah, if you didn't know, the Dublin drop.
You can't say Irish car bomb
It's
anymore.
the PC version of Irish car bomb.
Right. Or soju bombing.
And a Dublin drop is kind of really fun to say.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great ring
Also
to it.
delicious.
Yeah, they're great. Well, I feel like I go about it every other year. Because I do 2 mini, and then the next St. Patty's Day rolls around, and
Didn't
I'm
you
like...
play beer
I'm not
pong
ready.
with car bombs?
I think we
Which
should
is
actually show
adventurous.
that. I think there's a video of it.
Wow. Yeah, you should show
And that should be our St. Patty's Day video. That'd be fun.
That'd be great. Just give me all your wild hair, crazy drinking videos.
Oof.
All right.
There's more than one.
All right, we're gonna travel south and the vibrant streets of Mexico.
Okay.
Okay. They celebrate with pulque,
Okay.
a milky alcoholic beverage made from the fermented sap of the maguey plant.
Magua?
Yeah. It was a sacred drink of the Aztecs. They used it in offerings and also for medicinal purposes.
Interesting. I wonder, like, if it comes from the sap of the plant. So I would guess maybe, like, a little bit sweeter. Or I was trying to think of, like...
Tequila milk.
Yeah, like
Agave.
tequila milk. I guess like the agave comes from the sap
Yeah.
as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just like...
Probably.
Yeah.
I didn't go that far.
Well, it's just thinking about what it could be. What it'd be like to be an Aztec.
I'm too European for that.
Our final stop takes us to Finland, where the Kalshuri Kanet. Is that it?
I think that was it.
Kalshuri Kanet
I don't think I could have said it better.
is the name of the game. Clearly, this translates to getting drunk in your underwear. It's a laid-back way of enjoying a few drinks at home without the fuss of dressing up, because it's a lot of work. And, it sounds like someone fancied up and made it really hard for me to say what Kevin and I just do on a weeknight.
We are so excited that you joined us today on this exciting adventure for unusual drinking habits from around the globe and apparently right down your street. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for some more intriguing sips of wisdom.
That's unusual. You're jealous, if anything.
Well,
All right. Stay tuned for a round of brews. And bites and bites and brews and brews and bites and bites and brews.
Brews and Bites.
For you.
We're keeping it weird and unusual this week. This week we're discussing some unconventional combinations of beer and food, because why not? This is Brews and Bites.
Yeah.
Chelsea,
Yes.
kick us off.
Elizabeth. What am I kicking? Oh, yeah.
Well, not that
We're
cow on cow.
Yeah, definitely not that. Exploring the unique ways beer can enhance flavors of unexpected dishes.
Oh, that came out of nowhere.
Ooh. Our first unconventional pairing takes us to one of my favorite places, is enjoying spicy foods. It's a weird...
You can put anything on the teleprompter and she says it.
It's a weird way to say that. It takes us to one of my favorite types of food, spicy food. Well, many may instinctively reach for the glass of water or milk, depending on how high the heat. But we say, why not a bold flavored IPA instead? Its hoppy bitterness perfectly complements the heat, balancing out the flavors and leaving your taste buds craving more. I would challenge that with, if it is a very spicy, do a milk stout. Get that little creaminess just like the other milk and help get some of that heat out.
Not a blood-drawn cow's milk.
It might help. I don't know. I won't be the one to tell you. But it depends on if you want to cool the heat or like enhance the heat. The IPA is going to enhance the heat.
Well, you're the one that likes spicy. We figured you wanted to keep the volume elevated.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I was just giving another option. You want to enhance it? You want to like take it down a
That's a
notch?
good point. That's a good point. All right, next up, a rich and creamy stout paired with spicy foods. Oh, I'm just kidding. Chocolate covered bacon. That one's for all my bacon lovers out there. Big fan. That's right. We say the deep flavors of a stout pair beautifully with the sweet and savory notes of bacon and chocolate, which is quite the experience on your taste buds. And just right for the mind that needs a bit of a new or different, or maybe just another Tuesday.
Well, brunch sounds like a good brunch combo to me.
Yeah.
Moving on to a more unexpected pairing. Let's talk about sushi and beer. Traditionally, people go to the sake. Yeah, that's common and it makes sense and that's delicious. But we encourage you to step outside of your bento box a little bit. I added that one in myself. And try a crisp and refreshing pilsner. It's clean, light profile, cuts through the richness of the fish and amplifies the delicate flavors, elevating your sushi experience. And I really like this pairing actually.
Nice.
Sounds really good together.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
this one I like the high
maybe
carbonation.
You guys can go do a date night, you and Kevin, and tell me how it goes.
Yeah, I don't think they usually have pilsners there. No.
Well, maybe you can bring your own in.
Next time we deliver it.
You could have a picnic at a brewery. Bring your own sushi in.
Actually, it would be kind of fun. The whole boat and just like lock down a table with their whole boat.
Why not? All right, brace yourself for this one. We're entering uncharted territory.
Bracing.
Dessert and beer.
Yeah.
When it comes to desserts, many automatically think of wine.
Yeah. But not today.
Not today. Imagine a velvety smooth porter paired with a decadent chocolate cake.
Yeah.
We actually kind of got into that in our gingerbread and porters, but we also wanted to bring it back, make it a little bit more dramatic. So yeah, big, robust, and roasty flavors of a porter often create that heavenly blend with the sweet and chocolatey goodness of the cake. So it could be sinfully delicious. Who knows?
I hope it is. It sounds nice.
Yeah. Take on to the other side.
There you got it. Some unconventional Brews and Bites beer and food pairings for your palate to tantalize and eat and hopefully have a great adventure. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and explore the limitless possibilities of brewing kitchen collaborations. And thanks for joining us on this segment. I think it was
fun.
It was unique and unusual.
Oh, unconventional.
Unconventional.
Don't forget, as my good friend Chelsea brought up, in each pairing, the goal is always to either complement or contrast the flavors of the dish with your beer and food profiles, even if they are unconventionals. Unconventionals.
This week's segment of Brews and Bites is brought to you by the original Gourmet Cheese Club. Each month, you can embark on a flavor journey with a selection of the finest traditional and artesian cheeses from around the globe, including award-winning varieties from both local American producers and renowned international cheesemakers.
Oh, I want to be a cheesemaker.
Maybe it might make me not want to eat cheese. That would make me sad.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. The expert cheesemongers with international experiences and accolades ensure each cheese reaches its peak flavor and meticulously maintained cheese. In the meticulously maintained cheese caves, with over 25 years of experience in packaging and shipping, the Gourmet Cheese Club guarantees you the cheese will arrive in perfect condition, ready to savor as intended, and pair delightfully with your beers.
There you go. Make sure to click the link at the very bottom of our description to get your order in today. Just a heads up, while the Gourmet Cheese Club did not pay us to sing their praises, we do have an affiliate link. If you click through and decide to subscribe to their amazing cheese selections, we'll get a kickback for that, and we super appreciate it, and it means that we can see you next week, and that's even better. So
we appreciate
thanks for watching that today.
I think next time I'm going to sing it so that line makes sense. The Gourmet Cheese Club. The cheesemongers in the cheesy caves. They deliver cheese with your name.
That was beautiful.
I had a good time with it.
That's all that matters.
Where? We're gonna wrap this episode up with our top 10. Weekly top 10.
Awesome.
It's a list. There's 10 things.
I hate about you.
It's in
Oh,
it's actually
sorry. Fucking
been
crushing
mean to
my
me
timing
all day.
today.
Oh, mean
So
to me
sorry.
all day.
So sorry. My
This
bad.
article is taken, or this top 10 list is taken from the hop culture list. There was 9. We added another one because
That's
we
right.
felt like it was important in Who Wants a Top 9 list. Not me, I want top 10. Just one all 10.
Just because we're using unconventional things doesn't mean you gotta throw out unconventional numbers like a top 9.
Top 9.
Tech 9?
Top 9.
All right.
Let's get us rolling with
All right.
number 10.
We're rolling into number 10. Tap rooms must embrace evolution. All right, we've hinted upon this. Evolving beyond just serving beer. They're becoming cultural hubs, these tap rooms. Customers now seek experiences like events, community engagement, and diverse food options.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Looking forward to 2024. The shift in consumer expectations challenges tap rooms and breweries to offer more than just new beer releases.
Yeah, it's like we've been talking about that. Yes.
Yeah. No, the
Experiences.
list was very confirming. Made me feel good about myself.
Yeah. Take time for traditions. Craft beer trends are circling back to traditional practices. German customers like Kolsch service and I can say this one to do the other video. Bierstellen? Bierstellen.
Hot poker in
The
your
hot
beer.
poker, yeah. Are gaining popularity in U.S. breweries. The trends include Czech style side pull faucets, English style cask ales.
Yeah.
This is, a revival of historical beer
That's right.
practices and is part of the broader cultural cycle, reflecting the desire to reconnect with the past while innovating for the future
Absolutely.
of craft beer space.
Absolutely. Can't wait to go back to Cohesion.
Yeah, cohesion is
That
great.
was
Yeah.
so much fun. Number 8, love for the lager
Yeah.
landscape. Chelsea alluded to that earlier today. A little bit of foreshadowing. 2024 is predicted to be the year of the dark lager.
Sounds like a good year to me.
Oh my gosh.
I've been craving dark lagers too.
So much.
Right? Like randomly, I've just been like, I really want a dark lager.
Sounds really
like I
good
knew.
right now. It's
I
like
had
you
one
knew.
yesterday.
Oh, from who?
I don't remember. Called Arms, actually, I think.
Called Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. I'm
good.
sure they crushed it.
Yeah, it's good.
You're the dark lager in the craft beer industry. Light lager's popularity is rising with significant check-ins on Untapped. But the dark lager trend reflects a shift in both brewer innovation and consumer preferences, moving towards well-crafted, traditional style lager styles.
Yeah. And then number 7, West Coast is back.
Guess who's back?
West Coast is
West
back.
Coast is back.
And it's not just West Coast IPAs either. These styles are resurging in the craft beer, moving from beyond just the IPAs. Breweries are diversifying their offerings, shifting from a heavy focus on hazies to include other hoppy varieties, and as we talked about, dark lagers. West Coast IPAs, long overshadowed by hazies, are now re-emerging with a fruitier profile using newer school hops, and this trend is extending to other styles like West Coast Pilsners, indicating a broader shift in customer preferences and brewing approaches. I think it's showing like a lot of like people want the fruit, they don't want just the bitter of the hop, but they don't want the extreme of the hazy, and I think it's a great balance.
It's gonna be a beautiful year.
Yeah.
Beautiful year.
I think I'm gonna really dig them.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I like them.
Seen some great West Coasts already, but yeah. All right, number 6, hops. Brewers are now innovating with hop extracts, oils, and frozen products, not just new hop varieties. So this aims to enhance the flavor and aroma in beer as well addressing practical concerns like increasing yields and profits.
Heyo.
This is my surprised face. All right, given rising costs and limited price increases, brewers are focusing on maximizing ingredients use. Terms like cryo, Libamax, CGX indicate beers brewed with these methods, signaling a trend towards more cost-effective and creative brewing techniques.
Well, it's got to be, right? Like,
Has to be.
I mean, costs are going up. You got to keep that cost down, or pints are just going to keep getting more and more expensive, and
That's right.
people just can't support it. Like, you get why it's hard for people to support a $8 to $10 pint. That's not easy, but costs are costs, so you got to come up with creative ways. And we kind of briefly talked about, like, because we're at this kind of dynamic shift in the space, like, you kind of hit a tipping point because people aren't being forced to be innovative and creative, because you're like, oh, well, I can just keep doing what's doing well. And now we're hitting a point where innovation is going to thrive again, and it's fun. Like, a lot of cool things are popping up because of it.
The Red Knight rides again.
I'm so excited.
I am. It's going to be a great year. It's already a great year. I'm sober for a month.
Yeah. Speaking of non-alcoholic needs,
Oh.
for our number 5.
That's a good point, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Number 5, as we've talked about all month long, non-alcoholic beverages segment is rapidly growing within the space. Brands like Sam Adams predict significant market expansion with non-alcoholic beers, wines, spirits gaining popularity. Many breweries have introduced non-alcoholic products reflecting this trend. The Adult Non-Alcoholic Beverage Association reports that substantial increase in sales with non-alcoholic beers leading the growth. So you've got other options, but the beers are leading the trend here. The segment rising popularity is further supported by the impressive growth of the other categories as well.
Yeah.
I couldn't really get behind the wines.
The
I
wines were
struggled.
tough for me as well.
Yeah, it just kind of...
It was like shitty Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it was like a $30 bottle of Welch's grape juice.
Oh, yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
this.
It just... I was like, how do you... I don't know. I'm sure there's some finessing in there, but...
And I did like
I was
the
like, can you just
yeah.
like open a storefront and sell non-alcoholic wine, and it's just like buying the little, like, they're probably $2 like frozen Welch's grapefruit and put them in a wine bottle and slap a pretty label on it, and then you can go to like any event because it's just grape juice.
Yeah. Yuck.
Or you can do like the sparkling ones that you get for kids at like New Year's.
Sure.
Those are like $2.
Yeah, that would
Let's
be
get
better.
those.
I did like
And honestly, that's kind of better.
yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Same. I'm with you on that.
I mean, I'm not trying to shit on the NA wine scene here, but it didn't
better.
hit it for me. Just be better, truly, but it just didn't hit it for me.
And I did like some of the mocktails. You made some pretty awesome Mexican mules.
Yep.
But a little too much. It definitely still gave me like that sugar hangover.
Yeah.
It was a little too much for me.
Okay.
But at that point, I was like, I just might as well lick a sugar cube.
Yeah, I think
but-
I think like the NA liquors do fine in like mixed drinks, but on their own, like you don't throw the NA whiskey on a pile of rocks and call it a day. Like that's just too watery. You don't need it. But you throw it in like a mixed, it's fine.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, it was
okay.
okay.
It helped
I
curb that
couldn't.
craving.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great craving curb for sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Number 4.
Number 4, welcoming the not so new RTD Twisted Tea. Hard tea is emerging as a popular ready-to-drink RTD choice, overshadowing hard coffee in the beverage alcohol market, with Twisted Tea leading the sales. The segment has expanded from 80 to almost 150 brands since 2020.
That's a lot.
Why? Because consumers are seeking alternatives to craft beer, contributing to the expected growth of the RTD category to $40 billion by 2027.
Interesting.
Link to the article is below, so you can do all your fact checking there.
Yeah.
So
I think the ready to drink is like mixed cocktail kind of things, right?
Yep.
Basically,
Yep.
is the concept.
The high noons, the twisted teas. High noons are like the vodka, like screwdrivers in a can. It's a ready to drink cocktail.
I thought high noons were just like seltzers.
Or maybe they're mixing up a brand name here.
You might be right. I have heard they're more expensive, but I didn't know why. I just thought they were fancy.
Ready to drink cocktails, I think, is the
Gotcha. Look at that.
old fashioned in a can, Bloody Mary in a
all
can.
right.
Yeah,
It's all
right.
making sense
Yep.
now what that means.
It's all coming back to me now. You have a much prettier voice.
Oh, no,
than
that was
me.
pretty good.
All right.
Screen. I can still see us. I think we're good.
Okay.
All right.
I can just see black.
I know. I can see us though.
Okay, good.
Number 3, pushing new packages. The highs and lows craft beer packaging is evolving with the 19.2 ounce stovepipe cans gaining popularity, offering a distinct shelf presence and value. Breweries like New Belgium and Bell are using this format for core beers. Meanwhile, you've got the little 8-ounce cans, I like to call them little chubs, are also emerging, indicating a trend toward just kind of diversifying your packaging a little bit. And I think it just stands out on the shelf. Honestly, I think that's kind of the big thing.
You gotta compete with the little mini Cokes.
Well, you've got you want to have the variety. It stands out on the shelf. Usually, the little cans, you put your big barrel aged stuff in, right? Because you don't necessarily want a 19.2 of it. Sure. But you have the big 19.2s. Then people can come in and just grab that versus having to grab a full 4-pack. And they sell well at concert venues. Because they usually sell the big cans.
I remember having this conversation with you a year or better ago about how with one of your closer friends in the brewing industry was oh yeah, you don't do the 16-ounce anymore, or you really don't do crowlers anymore. It's really about those 19 to 22-ounce cans. Yeah. I don't know the cool stovetop name for the 20-ounce cans, but whatever. And they were no, that's where it's going to be. So the fact that it landed at around that 19 ounces, I was this is no surprise to me right
32 is a lot. That's a big can to tote around, and it's
I
just
get
a lot
it for sharing, but
yeah, that's a lot for on your own.
That's a big beer.
A big beer.
All right, number 2, brewery consolidation. 2023 saw a significant brewery consolidation. We talked about this a couple times with prominent mergers like Dorchester and Aeronaut Brewing, Westbound and Downs acquisition of Aspen Brewing and Capitol Creek Brewing, and then Great Divide and Dry Dock doing some collaboration and
collab
stuff together. All right. So this is that big indication of the growing trend in the industry, right, towards collaboration and strategic partnerships, right? We're talking about getting those prices down. That's really going to do it. And it's really only going to see it even more in 2024.
And it's not the first time this has happened. This has happened before in history. You get the big booms and you get the consolidation, and it's just then innovation happens, and it's the cycle.
And here we go.
History repeats itself, and we're doing it again.
Indubitably.
But before history totally repeats itself, we're going to hit you at the number 1.
Hit me with your passion.
Tapping into digital. The key in craft beer industry is digital marketing has become a key strategy for breweries to broaden their reach. Breweries are leveraging online platforms to promote events, engage in a wider audience beyond their own local communities, embrace influencers to help expand that audience as well.
Yeah.
And have an opportunity to be a bit more inclusive and lean on the shoulders of other experts.
Absolutely.
To help push their brand, push their mission, push what they want to show, get their clients more engaged. At this point, you just kind of have to. How are you going to
get to that bigger audience?
How are you going to do it without it, right? Most people are going to come to your social presence to figure out what's going on, what's going on that week, who your food trucks are, what events are you running, maybe your website, but guess what? That's still a digital presence, right? And it's pushing it beyond just photos, maybe videos if you're out pumping out videos. Craft beer is an art, and doing your social presence and your digital marketing is an art, right? It's having the right content, it's speaking the right way, it's hitting your people so they know what you're all about, so you can help back in-house your missions, your visions, your passions, and
get your product out there.
It just get all that stuff flowing together. It is just combining art mediums together, and it's not the easiest to do well. It's also not the hardest. A lot of times I feel just not overthinking it is the way to go, and
that's just good life advice.
Yeah, be you. Yeah. Embrace it.
Well said. Have a good time. Well said.
Yeah. All right, as that wraps up.
That's going to do it.
Our episode for this week. Thank you as always for the support. And it's episode 13. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Lucky number 13.
13. You can catch new episodes of the Body by Beer podcast every single Wednesday on your favorite podcast listening platform. Apple, YouTube, Spotify, etc. Also all the social medias as well. We to put out little variables, little short clips and whatnot. Please, if you haven't already, rate and leave a review of our podcast. It really helps us grow. makes the algorithm like us, and it shows like people love what we're doing. It helps us improve on what we want to. On Spotify, we put a little question poll at the end of every single episode, so you can let us know what segment you like the most, so we can focus on things and talk about stuff you want to hear. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for joining us this week. We've made some super awesome memories together, and we're looking forward to doing it more. Join us next time on the Body by Beer podcast. Full of fun insights and hopefully a lot of fun. We sure do have a lot of fun making them for you. We're going to continue to explore some more fascinating tales from around the world of beer. Remember, if you have any suggestions or stories you want to share, drop them in the comments below. And we super appreciate you tuning in.
And one more final shameless plug is if you want some sweet Body by Beer merch.
Ooh, the merch store is up.
Merch store is up. Link is in the description. We've got shirts, we've got tumblers, we have got
AirPod
stickers,
cases.
AirPod cases, all of them. Whatever style of beer you like the most, we've got merch for you.
See you next week. Thanks for tuning in.